In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist.
President Donald Trump has promised a historic increase in U.S. military spending. His comments come a day before he addresses a joint session of Congress, an important agenda-setting event for new presidents. A White House budget official says Trump will seek to boost Pentagon spending by $54 billion in his first budget proposal and cut the same amount from non-defense spending, including a large reduction in foreign aid.
First budget will be submitted to the Congress next month. This budget will be a public safety and national security budget, very much based on those two, with plenty of other things, but very strong. And it will include a historic increase in defense spending to rebuild the depleted military.
Trump's comments came as White House Budget Director Mick Mulvaney said the military spending will surge by $54 billion. And that'll be an almost 10% increase compared to the 2017 defense funding.
Pentagon, the day before 9/11, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld declared war, not on foreign terrorists.
The adversary is closer to home. It's the Pentagon bureaucracy.
He said money wasted by the military poses a serious threat.
In fact, it could be said that it's a matter of life and death.
Rumsfeld promised change, but the next day, the world changed. And in the rush to fund the war on terrorism, the war on waste seems to have been forgotten.
My 03 budget calls for more than $48 billion in new defense spending.
More money for the Pentagon when its own auditors admit the military cannot account for 25% of what it already spends.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
$2.3 trillion with a T. That's $8,000 for every man, woman, and child in America.
A new investigation shows accounting fraud and disorganization are rife at the U.S. Department of Defense. Reuters research has found that since 1996, over $8 trillion in taxpayer money allocated to the U.S. Department of Defense has been unaccounted for. It shows ledgers are doctored to match the Treasury's books. The research also found that disorganization in the Pentagon caused repeated purchases of supplies it already possessed. The Defense Department has received nearly $566 billion in taxpayer money in 2013.
A Reuters investigation says since 1996, the Pentagon has spent $8.5 trillion in taxpayer money that has never been accounted for. And nobody can say for sure how many billions of that amount were wasted on goods and services that were never delivered, on overpayments to contractors and many other things. What does Congress do about it? Nothing.
The Defense Department's Inspector General has said that the U.S. Army made wrongful adjustments of around $6.5 trillion to accounting entries in 2015. He added that the Army lacked receipts and the invoices to support the figures and simply made many of them up. Many U.S. citizens have expressed anger over the news. However, mainstream media in the U.S. have largely ignored this story. News agency Reuters says the revelations so far are only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to account falsifications by the Defense Department.
Oh, they'll never count sheep again.
Listen, why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to Room 9.
Looking good, number 9, looking good.
Where's your dignity?